Sometimes you just gotta take action. Let me start with that right away. Today's gonna be a completely different episode. I didn't prepare anything other than a few quick things that I just dropped in the notes as I was just on a walk. And I think we gotta get real for a second. Because at some point we just need to take action. We just need to do the thing. Because I'm just gonna dive right in. How to hit your protein 30-second reels do you need to watch? How many influencer recipe guides, workout programs, like whatever it is, will you download, etc., before you finally start to take action? Because you don't need another, right? How to hit your proteins. Here's how you get your fiber. Absolutely, those things can be very helpful. But for how long have you now been watching those videos, listening to the podcast, including this one? Which is, by the way, this is also why I kind of stepped away a little bit at least. We'll bring some back, but the educational stuff. Because, to be honest with you, all the information is out there. But the information is not what drives the results. And that's what I am here for. That's my responsibility, to help you get results. We are an action-based company that's driven to create results for you, with you, right? Which is why we've been talking about a lot of mindset stuff. We're bringing in, other professionals from the space to educate you. But a lot of things that we've been talking about, right, is doing the work. And that's our main topic for today. Like I said, I just went on a walk and I had to share this with you. Because I know you're out there spinning your wheels. I know you're out there feeling like crap, not looking the way you want to. And I'm saying this from a place of understanding, because that was me in 2012. I was overweight, unfit, unhealthy, shitty habits. I had no confidence. It was just not a thing, I used to wear like these extra large t-shirts just to hide my gut. And, but I didn't know what to do. But it wasn't information, you know what I mean? It wasn't information. And already back then, this is before Netflix, before, Instagram blew up, before TikTok, thank God. But, the blogs were there, the forums, and it was already the Wild West. And it's always been. And not just that, because I fell for the documentaries, which I had to illegally download at the time. And via torrents. I'm not sure if you still remember that one. But I had to download the documentaries, and I fell for this juice cleanse and so many bullshit things. I blindly followed MyFitnessPal's 1200 calorie diet and recommendations, and it's I didn't know what to do. But the information was out there, and the things that we know these days is slightly better than back then. I mean, it is 12 years ago, and the research does, get updated a lot. But still, the principles still go. The information has been there, and we're finding new things, but at the end of the day, it's the repetitive putting things into action over and over and over again until it's part of who you are. You go to the gym, you eat your veggies, you eat your protein, you lift your weights, you do your cardio, you go to bed on time. There's no magic in that. So again, let me ask you this question, right? Because I know you're out there feeling confused, overwhelmed, stressed. You don't know what to do. How long will you allow this to continue? How long until you reach out for help? That could be me and my team. It could be anyone else, to be honest with you. But I'm just being super direct here. But if you cannot figure it out on your own, then reach out. I'm happy to help you. My team is happy to help you. There's lots of other great companies and coaches out there. This is not a sales pitch. But I want you to know that it's only action that will actually get you to a good spot. Because, trust me, the thing that we help our clients with, yes, we educate. Absolutely. It's very foundational to what we do. And we are in the middle of creating our own app. We're going to have a 12-week course on that. And you heard it here first. I'm just about 10 chapters in now. I'm pretty much, I'm getting there. This, by the way, has not been shared anywhere. So congrats, you're one of the first to hear that. But education is very foundational. But you know what? Throughout that 12-week course, I'm talking a lot about mindset. I'm talking about the principles that we need to adhere to be able to live a good life where we do not overindulge, where we do practice self-control, but where we also practice flexibility, where we overcome our obstacles, we keep working. I speak to that a lot because, again, it's not just here's how you hit your protein, this is how you track macros. Yes, it's part of it. But what do you do when things get tough? What do you do when you're hit with a roadblock, you overeat, you undereat, and you feel like you cannot do this? What do you got to do? You need a certain set of character traits, and I'm going to share a little bit of that today with you. Because it is our mission to fight the global health crisis one person at a time. Again, saying that you're going to create change on a global level is a big statement, but we can help one person at a time. Today I'm going to help you. Now, I do see a future where things get better, where the health coach can basically be that person who guides you and who kind of stands in between you and maybe having to go to the doctor, right? As the educator, the guide support system, the mentor, if you will, who can allow you to achieve the results that you are after finally, without making all the mistakes. Trust me, I've made most of them, you know? So I'm saying this once again from a place of understanding. But we need to simplify nutrition and provide you with sustainable, repeatable systems and solutions so that you ultimately just know what to do. That is my goal with this podcast, with our whole company. We got some news this Saturday, by the way, June 1st. Pay attention. If you don't follow me on Instagram yet, by the way, at @JohanVesters_OCS. Don't want to miss this one. But okay, right? I want you to be in control. However, for you to be in control, we need to finally start putting things into action. If you go to our website, if you want, you can check this out. It's linked in the show notes. But you go to About Us and you'll find our mission and the core tenants. And these aren't just some cool motivational statements. Now, this is the stuff that we need to adhere to, like I said, for a good life that we create for ourselves. And the very first one is action is everything. Because we take action, period. It's the only thing that creates and maintains momentum. Self-doubt, setbacks, obstacles, discomfort, unmotivated feelings, failure, good days and bad days. Action is a requirement, right? It's the only thing that can create real lasting results and change. So let me ask you again, how many protein recipes are we going to look up just to, again, miss our protein target, right? How often are we going to let that happen until we finally say, hey, you know what, let me actually just for once sit down and take the 15 minutes and actually try to proactively go into a tracking app like Chronometer, which we love to use, and just puzzle with things a little bit to where you are now the person figuring it out. That is the thing that's going to stick, you see? And going back to what I was saying in the beginning, I will be sharing those kind of topics. We will be talking about protein and we're going to, refresh on the basics every now and then. And we will share that stuff with you because I know you do also want and you also need, right? Information that's correct, that is unbiased, which you by now should know. We just give it to you straight, right? There's no bias, no whatever, no opinions. Like this is actually like what's currently understood based on the research, as well as our experience with hundreds of people. We know what works. That's not it. It's not about finding the new thing. It's about getting you to adhere consistently to your protocol for a very long time. And that's going to be much longer than most people want to take action for. So I do want you to know as well, like, hey, it's going to be a journey. We don't work with people for less than 6 months. That's for a reason. I could allow people to join us for 3, but here's the reality. We're not going to be done yet. You're just getting started, really. And that's something that you might not want to hear. And in this space, this fitness space where it's full of the 21-day this and that and the summer shreds and whatever, and you're still, these days, still the newspapers, the magazines, right? Lose 10 kilos in 2 weeks or whatever it is. Yeah, good luck keeping that off. And by the way, it's mostly water anyway when you cut your carbs. There's a whole different story. We need to accept that this journey is a lifelong endeavor. We need to accept that it is going to require a lot of work for you to finally change your habits, which, by the way, can take at least more than half a year for some people, a lot of people, at least a couple of months, before a habit is actually a habit. So I should really say before a practice becomes a habit. It takes a long time. Because also, when it comes to habits, people are not giving you the correct information online. It is not 21 days. It's not 30 days. It's not even 60 days. It may be, but here's the reality. Based on the research, we know that it's an average of 66 days, but that's based on a range between from 18 through, I think it's 18 up to 250 or something days. So we don't know how long it's going to take. And it doesn't matter. It comes back to action. How many of those days are you actually doing the thing? You see, going back to protein, let's say we want to create the habit of eating enough protein. I'm not even going to say more, but just enough protein, until we finally hit 30, 40 grams of protein per meal. Well, it depends. It could be pretty quick if we apply it every meal, every day for the next few weeks. You'll be pretty quick. Now, you may want to bring that up over time, but you're going to get there. However, if I tell myself, hey, I'm going to try to eat more protein, right? Even just that statement, I'm going to try to. Like, no, we are going to make it happen, Go in with that mindset. But let's say we go in with the idea of, hey, I'm probably going to eat some more protein this month. Guess what? Right? You're going to set that goal for June, and June 31st, whatever, 30th, you're going to be like, shit, I actually didn't do the thing. I didn't make a point of hitting my 30 to 40 grams of protein for breakfast and for lunch and for dinner and for maybe a snack and maybe a 6 meal, kind of depending on, your requirements. So you see, it's way more just about doing the actual thing. Because as I was talking about the 12-week course that we're going to launch, there's a lot of good information in there. And I've invested days and days and days into creating that for you. And I'm very excited to launch this very soon. However, I'm also going to say this. That information is out there. You've heard me talk about this on the podcast. I've shared this with you many, many times. It really comes down to actually applying it, which is why we're so action-driven. It's why we call it action-based coaching. That's why I also think that the actual coaching and the accountability you get, the guidance, the mentorship setting that you get with us and with our coaches, that is one of the main things that drives true change, because you are not alone on your journey. At the end of the day, like, you got to do the work. Let's be real. You got to actually walk the path, right? You could basically you can outsource a few things, a lot of the thinking when it comes to coaching, for example. You could even have people meal prep for you or do a meal prep service or whatever it is, But here's the reality. Like, you're still going to have to make the meals, eat the meals, go to the gym, get your steps in, sleep more, etc. And guess what? You are a person with a busy schedule, with stress, with insecurities, with thoughts, right? We all have this stuff. That's why I still have a coach and mentors, and they have coaches and mentors. And then those coaches and mentors probably still have coaches and mentors. That is why we do what we do. We truly believe in this stuff. That's what this stands for. Odyssey is your journey. Coaching is the mentorship, the fact that you're not on your own. And the systems are the processes that we use to create results over and over again and make it, I'm not going to say easy, but simple for you to execute on. So I'm going to wrap it up today. I want to keep it short, but I want you to think about this stuff, because how much time are you going to spend online swiping Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is, YouTube? And by the way, right, if it's our stuff, then it's okay. But no, I'm kidding. No, but all joking aside, how much time are we going to spend online? I'm guilty of this too. I'm not saying, right, I'm better. I'm guilty. I've done this myself. Back then, it wasn't like the social media, swiping as, it is these days, but still, I was doing the same stuff. How much time are we going to waste there before we finally say, you know what, I'm actually going to do something about it? I'm proactively going to figure it out. And guess what? If I do not know how to, I'm going to reach out for help. So if you want me to help you, our team, hit us up. If you want someone else to help you, great, hit them up. Like, pick someone who you really vibe with. Search for a company who knows what they're doing. But the main thing I'm going to ask you here is to reach out for help, because that is the only thing that can allow you to get unstuck if you are in a place where you're just not sure how to figure it out. I'll talk to you Monday.